Welcome back. Another week of the Rose Tackle Football Show. I'm your host, Michael Rose, and I am here with Luna Rose in the background and John Rose, all done up for Christmas. What's up, John? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Figured it's close to the holidays. Figured bust out a nice sweater vest.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tis the season.
Yeah.
Tis the season for me to transition to basketball. Football's over. The Bears suck. My fantasy football teams all suck, and it's time to move on.
So what basketball are we talking about today? Are we going to go straight into college ball? Or,
No. We are going to do a hard
Harden?
30 minutes on Pat Williams, the Bulls rookie, his performance last night. We'll throw in a little Kobe White, and I'll give you a nice rundown of Zach LaVine's, shot chart. But no, I'm just kidding. Obviously,
We'll keep it tight.
We're here.
We'll keep it tight.
We're here for one reason only, and that's to bring you fantasy football content. The Rose Tackle Football playoffs are in full swing. This was a hell of a week, and I know everybody's waiting to hear about the big matchup, the big Monday night matchup. We'll get to it in a second. Let's give credit where credit's due, and talk for brief moment about the Bill Charlie matchup, Hello Earthers versus football and stuff. I think this matchup played out exactly as we thought it would. What do you think? How did you felt it go?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking close there for a little bit, but as soon as we got the final score of the Packers game, we could kind of piece together exactly what the outcome was going to be.
Exactly. Charlie was undone by a mediocre day from Aaron Jones, essentially.
Yep. Yeah, and that's that is the hard part about starting so many players. When they go off, they go off. But Aaron Rodgers, he's making a strong case for MVP, and I think we're going to see it from here on out. It's just he's going to do whatever it takes to throw the ball and
to Devontae Adams.
Yes, and whether it's second and short in the middle of the field or first and goal, he's going to throw the football to Devontae Adams.
That seems apparent. But unfortunately, wasn't enough. Unfortunately for Charlie, wasn't enough. Didn't help. He got negative points from Dan Bailey, who missed all sorts of field goals. Was not the only one. The amount of missed field goals this week was staggering. It seemed like every game there was a missed field goal or a missed extra point. Bill's team propped up by great games from DeAndre Hopkins, great games from Mike Davis, who really turned it around. Two rushing touchdowns. This was the first time he really went off in quite a while. Russell Wilson with the type of performance you can expect. So, I think this game played out pretty much like we had expected it would have.
Yes, I agree with that, and I think that was probably Mike Davis's first good game since I traded him to Bill. So
I think you're probably right. He's been,
not been good.
I mean, you're probably right. He had that 1 week against Detroit, but other than that, I mean, he's become an extremely touchdown dependent. I guess he always was, but he hasn't broken 70 yards in quite some time. So.
I would say he's certainly touchdown dependent and passing dependent, and it seemed like for a number of games in that stretch where Bill struggled towards the back half of the season was when for some reason Carolina stopped passing to Mike Davis, which their offense was predicated on that, and one of the reasons why CMC was so good was because of how many passes he got out of the backfield. So hopefully we see more of that coming up. One thing of note real quick with this, I think it's pretty interesting. Bill sat Josh Allen there, and it ended up being the right call. Russell Wilson got more points.
I don't think he's really played Josh Allen much, though, at all this year. I think he's been pretty consistent rolling with with Wilson, which, I mean, right move. Wilson's going against the Jets, right? You got to play Wilson.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
The
Easily the right call there. But Wilson has been down the last couple weeks, having so many good games. So
the only real worry, I think, for Wilson, right, is they get up big on the ground and he basically doesn't do anything. But all right, let's move on. This was a good matchup, but one that saw a predictable winner. And congratulations to the Hollow Earthers. They continue to move their conspiracy theory forward just one more step. It is time to talk about the matchup that we all witnessed on Monday night. One of the closest, craziest fantasy matchups I've seen. It was a wild one. John, take us through it a little bit.
Well,
let's go back down
up until the end result, I think all of us were enjoying the group chat, and thank you for everyone that was chiming in there, and it really felt like it added even more to what was already a great game. But yeah, going into the fourth quarter, I believe Steve was up, about 5 or 6 points. Kelly started to chip away with that. But then Lamar Jackson had his
he swears it was not a Paul Pierce moment.
A mystery illness, cramping.
I mean, did you see the video of him running down the tunnel? Yeah, it certainly looked like he either had to take a shit or I guess maybe he had a bad.
He already did. There's no way.
Maybe he had a bad cramp.
Does he? I don't know. I don't follow Lamar that closely. But does he always have a towel hanging off his back? Like it was like directly over. The right down the
spot you'd want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe
it was directly over. And when that door opened and that guy was coming out, and Lamar was like, move. That's unmistakable. I am going to shit myself.
So Lamar has his unfortunate incident. And in comes the backup, whose name I can't even remember off the top of my head. What's that guy's name? He was terrible. What the fuck was his name? It was Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley didn't get much done. And I think, Kelly was freaking out. I think everybody was kind of disappointed given how amazing the game had been up to that point, the comeback from Cleveland. So it was nice to see Lamar eventually jog back out of that locker room.
Yeah. So he jogs back out, after this terrible drive started by McSorley, who which on that drive, J.K. Dobbins had fumbled, but it was recovered by Baltimore.
Yeah.
So that could have, that probably would have sealed Kelly's fate there. Even though it was a fumble, it wouldn't have swung the score enough for her to take the lead. But Cleveland could have ran it out at that point, right? And so,
For sure.
He comes back in and first pass, strike to Marquise Brown for 44 yards for the touchdown, which at that point then, that puts Kelly up by 2 points.
Yes.
By about 2 points. 1.94 if we want to get specific.
Okay.
And then J.K. Dobbins runs in the 2-yard 2-point conversion,
and that is when we get to this moment, the 121.76 to 121.7. Barracudas with the lead, 151 left to go in the ball game. Cleveland's ball, and at that point, I don't know. I don't know how if you're Steve, you're praying that Cleveland has to end up using the entire clock.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't really seem like it seemed like that was possible, but I don't know. It's not always feasible, right? Like you assume maybe Baltimore gets the ball back with a second or two left, or not a second or two, 30 seconds left, and hopefully they just don't have to do anything with it. And Lamar is, not going to run forward, just step backwards for the victory. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all.
Both teams had one timeout each left, and so you could have, in theory, if you had stopped them, if Baltimore had stopped Cleveland, they could have kneeled it without any issue, and voila, Blue Barracudas takes it.
But that was not the end result. Cleveland scores, and the game very quickly, and the game finishes. Lamar Jackson just throwing dimes right into Steve's heart, actually just right through Steve's heart, to be caught by Mark Andrews, pretty much sealing Steve's fate. I guess you could have hoped in there that there was going to be some Dobbins pass. I think he was on the field for a couple of those passes, but ultimately that was not the case. And I know Steve was probably rooting for Justin Tucker to miss that field goal, but
55-yarder.
On a week of kickers missing field goals, the one guy you can usually count on is Justin Tucker, the best kicker in the history of football, basically. So
I agree with that. Yeah, and it was a far kick.
Yeah, for sure. But that dude,
joke.
I mean, that dude hits 50-yarders for breakfast.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Wow, that would have been an insane twist. Even more insane twist is if he had missed that and they went to overtime.
Yeah, for sure.
Real quick, what's your take on, should Cleveland have gone for 2 when they scored that touchdown in 50 some odd seconds?
I mean,
they had the lucky Kareem Hunt 2-point conversion. Well, hit him in the hands and got caught by Higgins, I think, or whoever. But
do you go for 2? I mean, you're at home.
Yeah,
I think on the road you probably go for 2. At home, I don't know. I don't know.
With Cody Parkey missing at least 1 extra point, I think he missed a field goal.
Yeah.
We don't need to bring him up though. Let's.
No, fuck that guy. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a hell of a game. Ultimately, Kelly came out the other side, buoyed not just by those great performances from Lamar Jackson, but also from Dalvin Cook, a reliable point getter for everybody else on her team. Really did, not much more than she would have expected. But Lamar going off and Dalvin, being reliable is really what brought her through. Steve had a great week, for most of his guys as well. And if New Orleans defense, if that New Orleans Philly game doesn't go the way that, I don't think anybody expected it to go that way.
Not at all. Yeah.
That was a nightmare for New Orleans. So if, that game ends a little bit differently, maybe you're looking, I mean, they put up over 400 yards of offense against that New Orleans team. It's crazy. So
it was the right call playing the New Orleans defense. They had been outstanding for the previous few weeks, and a rookie quarterback. You would think that Sean Payton would have a better handle on that.
For sure.
With his pedigree, but man, that was quite a performance by Jalen Hurts against that defense.
Yeah,
and you know what? And as you bring up Younghoe Koo, this is his first down game in quite a while.
I was going to say, I think it's the worst game he's had since you traded him to Steve.
Yep, and I think that no, that 2 points he didn't get injured in there. He was injured in that October 5th game. But yeah, I'm a big believer in Young Wei-Koo, but that was disappointing. They only got one field goal out of him, but as we've seen, Matt Ryan really struggles when Julio's not in there. So
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, great stuff by Kelly. Congratulations to her. But she walks in to the next game against a juggernaut. Let's transition there. Thoughts and prayers versus the absolute fiasco, which, I don't know. It might be time for Kelly to change that team name. She's got some luck on her side. And right now we are recording in the middle of it is halftime of the Thursday night game.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs has 5.5 points. So we will see how that ends up. I think for Kelly, the big thing is Julio playing, right?
And what I don't think he will. He's missed, he usually doesn't practice Wednesday anyway, but traditionally he's gotten in a limited practice on Thursdays if he's going to play, and he did not today. So I have a hard time believing that he's going to. But really, what's the point? They're out of the playoffs. Like, why not rest him for the rest of the season? I hate saying that as a Julio owner in other leagues, but it makes no sense for them to do that. And so,
I agree. I think it's probably unlikely we see Julio in this game, which is going to mean Kelly's going to have to make a decision about who she slots in there. And I don't know. Do you put J.D. McKissick back in there again?
Potentially.
That
Curtis
Seattle
Samuel?
defense is porous and pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe you put Curtis Samuel in there. But Curtis Samuel didn't play last week either, right?
I think that was COVID related, but he didn't have COVID.
Okay. So perhaps he plays. Okay.
Or no, he did play last week. He did play.
Did he? Okay.
DJ Moore didn't play.
DJ Moore was out. Yes. Okay.
All right. I think DJ Moore is still having some sort of. So if DJ Moore doesn't play, I think Curtis Samuel is a pretty good start. Just how much they use him in the run game as well as the pass game.
Yeah.
And the target share, it's pretty good. 9, 5, 10, 5, 9 in the last few games. It's seems like he's guaranteed to get 10 points, which right now you can't have any duds against Ken's team. So
no, you cannot.
If you can get a decent floor from your flex player, and just hope that Jeff Wilson, who if Mostert doesn't play, which I don't think Mostert will play based on he hasn't practiced, and if you can get big games out of Jeff Wilson and Dalvin Cook, and
the Jeff Wilson part of this is hard to stomach. I'm sure if you're Kelly, I
think it's a better play than McKissick.
I don't know. That whole San Francisco running back situation has been a nightmare for a lot of fantasy owners.
And if you look at that, his big game, that game, his two big games, I believe, are when Mostert wasn't in. So,
well, we'll see.
Potentially. I think also, you look at that and it's like, you just never know. Like maybe Tevin Coleman's finally healthy, or McKinnon finally gets 10 touches, and it's hard. It's very hard. And then Mike Evans and Adam Thielen, those are. Mike Evans is a touchdown dependent guy,
and she needs a big game from Adam Thielen going against that Bears secondary, which say what you will about the Bears, but their secondary has a lot of talent in it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know. Adam Thielen, I feel like every time I see a Bears game, Bears Minnesota, Thielen carves up the Bears. So I guess there's potential there, but we'll see. She's going to need a big performance from Lamar.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Her bench is just a wasteland at this point. I feel terrible. I mean, you look at this bench, you want to cry. You've got.
I mean, I don't feel that bad for her. She's in the semifinals.
Yeah, of course. I mean, let's qualify that, but
let's within reason.
Deebo Samuel comes back, looks great, and then immediately goes out on the first play of last week, and that's terrible. He's out. Ronald Jones breaks his finger and then goes on the COVID IR.
List, Yep.
And he was looking great the last couple of games. That's tough. That's
it's not great.
But we can spend a few minutes over here on
the Hoffman side. I mean, what do you see on Hoffman's side? I expect Ken to win this game pretty handedly. I'll be honest. Even if Josh Jacobs doesn't end up having a great second half here and bringing him, up to double-digit points, I expect. Drake is clearly Edmonds gets thrown in there a little bit, but Drake is still the number one back in Arizona.
I think Edmonds is out. I think he got hurt.
Is Edmonds out?
I'm pretty sure he's not going to play this week, but I can look it up real quick.
Either way, I mean, if that's the case, especially Drake gets, all the touches. I wouldn't imagine. He's going to have. He's out?
No, I'll look it up, though.
Oh, okay. And then, Robert Woods looking for a bounce-back game against the Jets. If you're going to have a bounce-back game, the Jets are a good team to do it against. DK Metcalf and Pat Mahomes at the top of his lineup, and Travis Kelce and Calvin Ridley at the bottom. I just am not sure. Kelly's going to need a monster game from at least three of her players to be able to get over the hump here. And I don't know who those games are coming from.
I mean, it could be Lamar, it could be Thielen, it could be Jeff Wilson, or Thielen or Dalvin Cook. To me, one or the other. I think that they're going to be able to move the ball on the Bears defense. But.
Yeah. And given how well, so there's two things, right? New Orleans is a talented defense. It's a defense that has played pretty well all year. So what happened against Philadelphia? You would think, one, maybe they came into that game just underprepared and not taking it seriously because the team they were playing sucks. But I would imagine that this New Orleans D is hyped for this game against Kansas City. And so maybe you get them to slow down. And if you're going to focus on slowing down one part of the Chiefs offense, Travis Kelce is a pretty good one to focus on.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Tyreek Hill, he's got 16 touchdowns on the
for
season.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah, but I do agree. I think you try and funnel it back into make Clyde Edwards-Helaire beat you on the ground, but I don't know. Like we saw last week, if you click into if you slide pull up Patrick Mahomes, he threw 3 interceptions on the week, and he still ended up with 19 points. That's like
he threw
I heard some announcers
yards.
say, at some point the Kansas City offense is going to get theirs, and
they're going to score.
It's just never. You can slow them down for a little bit, but it's just never going to happen for a full game.
For sure.
But I agree. If you can take out Kelce,
this is
a half, or prevent him from getting into the end zone, I think is going to be your biggest thing. And perhaps the Eagles are up to that task with limiting time of possession. Hurts actually moving the ball down the field and, running it and eating up clock. That's something that Carson Wentz didn't do. And so we'll see. And then Philly's playing. Sorry. I think we were talking wrong there.
What do you
the
mean?
Saints have to do that against Kansas City.
What do you mean? That's what you were saying. I thought you were talking about I thought you were talking about the Philly matchup against New Orleans last week, and so saying
that's what they
right?
did. So if you can do that against them with Taysom Hill running and eating up the clock, then I think that's possible.
We will see. Sure. I am not convinced necessarily that that there's anything you can do to stop enough of the guys on Ken's team to put up enough points to beat him this week. It's going to be really tough.
No, it's going to be matchup dependent. I think if the Rams get out ahead against the Jets, you could see another 29 rushing attempts day by Cam Akers, in which Robert Woods doesn't get a lot of targets, but
like Robert Woods had one of the best corners in the league on him last week in McCourty. He still got 8 targets. He still caught 5 balls. He only went for 32 yards, I know, but the dude gets targets 11, 12, 15, 6, 8, 5, 10. I mean, he is a target machine. They're going to go at him, and I don't see why that's, I don't think that's going to change against the Jets. So, I don't know.
I completely agree that 8 targets when your running back has 29 attempts is pretty astonishing. That I can't imagine that Jared Goff threw more than 20 times. That game, and for 8 of them to go to 8 of however many to go to Robert Woods is a ton. So I agree. Sure. That's also, he's going to get his, and there's really no way to kind of look at this. I mean, Calvin Ridley didn't practice yesterday.
Yep.
I don't know what he practiced today, but he's been dealing with this foot injury all season.
I thought he practiced today. I'm sure he will play. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Peter, Alpha Peter versus the Hollow Earther matchup real quick. I got to be honest. As Bill, I'm sorry. I don't feel the need to spend a lot of time on this matchup. I think it could be closer than it's projected. But not by much. I don't know. What do you think, John?
In the immortal words of Bill Boylan, he probably should have started Hunter Henry, to say the least. But that Hunter Henry text just came through.
I did. So. I did just see alerts on my phone about. Herbert was. That's a touchdown pass to Johnson. So that touchdown was in the first half. Okay. The Hunter Henry probably wanted to start Hunter Henry, but who knows? Maybe Gronk grabs a touchdown. Either way, Bill.
It's gonna be rough.
So here's the players I like going for Bill. I do like Russell Wilson against Washington. I'm sure he gets his numbers. Hopkins will get his numbers against Philadelphia. Kupp, same thing as Woods. I would imagine Kupp gets his numbers. But then after that, Mike Davis going against that Green Bay offense, if they're not going to throw the ball to him, Mike Davis isn't going to be a lot of good because Carolina is going to be down most likely for parts of that game, for large parts of that game. New Orleans with Edwards-Helaire. I mean, that Edwards-Helaire against New Orleans, that game, if that game turns into a shootout of sorts, Edwards-Helaire might not be doing very much. and that's going to spell trouble for Bill. Freddie Kitchens is calling plays for Colt McCoy in the Giants game this week, which leads me to believe that Cleveland is going to blow them out, which also leads me to believe it's going to be a lot of Nick Chubb, which is a good thing for the Alpha Peter and not a great thing for Bill's team.
So let me ask you, do you then sub Landry out for T.Y. Hilton, who is going up against Houston, who 2 weeks ago put up 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown? Ride the resurgence, the reemergence of T.Y. Hilton as a top wide receiver in this league. Do you sub him in for Landry and hope for the big play? For the monster game.
I don't think so. I mean, if you're going to hope for the monster game, I think you sub Jerry Jeudy in. And
really? Why not? Not T.Y. Hilton against Houston.
I don't know. I just don't trust T.Y. Hilton anymore.
Certainly, but look, I mean, if you pull him up, like his last 3 games have been great. 4 touchdowns last 3 games. Close to 300 yards.
So it's got regression to the mean written all over it. Houston's not. I just don't see Houston. Houston's going to key in on him, right? This week, he caught 8 balls for 110 yards. I would assume their primary goal is going to be stopping T.Y. Hilton this week.
But I don't think that they can. So
I don't know. T.Y. Hilton is not as unstoppable as he once was.
I think with a new quarterback, every time there's a new quarterback, it takes a while to kind of find that chemistry.
Yeah, but that new quarterback is Phillip Rivers. It's not like he's got some young hotshot who's throwing the ball down the field. He's got Phillip Rivers, who is basically, I don't know. I mean, he's a shell of his former self. He's still a good quarterback, but he's not. I don't know. I just have a hard time buying T.Y. Hilton. The reason I say Jerry Jeudy is I think Denver's going to go down big. They're going to need to pass. They're going to need to throw, and they're going to need to take some deep shots. And they're going to need guys like Jerry Jeudy to catch some balls. And so I think if you're looking, he has not done it. But I think if you're looking for somebody to pop, I mean, keep in mind who his quarterback has been for some of these games. But playing against Buffalo, I think if you're looking for somebody to pop, the last time they were in a game like that was that Atlanta game when Atlanta ran right through them. You may see something similar to that again. That's all I'm saying. I'm calling Jerry Jeudy. If Bill puts him in the starting lineup and it's a disaster, I don't want to hear about it. I'm just
What about Marvin Jones? I mean, Kenny Galladay is not going to be in.
Marvin Jones is a decent play as well, I think. Yeah. Without Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones becomes a decent play.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you're looking for Hail Marys and if you're looking for somebody who's going to put up 25 points, unexpectedly, my bet would be on Jeudy, given who they're playing.
All right. I'm gonna go T.Y. Hilton. I think he'll have the best day out of
all right. Well,
Jones, Jeudy, or Landry.
We shall see. We shall see. On the other side of the ball, I expect good things out of a Pittsburgh defense against Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I expect good things out of Mark Andrews again.
Completely. His lineup it's insane. I mean,
it's stacked.
How do you?
So,
I mean, for your flex position to be having to decide between arguably the best rookie wide receiver playing right now, Justin Jefferson, or Tyler Lockett, I think is kind of somewhat irrelevant at this point, but still a great player. But Justin Jefferson, Chris Carson, who I think is going to have a big week this week, as we move in deeper into the season. Seattle relies on the running game a lot more. And then Jonathan Taylor, who I think is also going to have a huge week this week.
We're calling Jonathan Taylor to have a huge week this week.
I think he'll have a big week this week. He had a great week last week.
All right.
He's had a great last 3 weeks. I mean, come on. Last 3 games,
I mean, I guess I'm just saying,
Against Houston, he put up 13 for 91 last time against Houston. It's got to come from somewhere, right? So
for sure.
But I think, to have that be your flex decision to, whether it be Taylor or Carson,
pretty nice situation.
Justin Jefferson. Yeah. He paid out the ass for it, but it's a good situation to be in.
Hopefully it will be very fun when the Alpha Peters are the laughing stock of the league next year after he wasn't able to draft anybody. But for now, we're just going to have to watch him as he steamrolls through teams, which I think will be the case this week.
We'll suffer through his memes and
there we go.
Whatnot in the group chat. So
right. That brings us to the end.
Oh my God!
With you next week to preview the championship.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't even notice this percent to win at the very top.
Oh, 73%.
That's the biggest differential I've seen.
Yeah.
Rough. Sorry, Bill.
We'll see. All right. We will be back with you next week to preview what will be the championship matchup. We'll see who it is.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. Be sure to keep an eye on Mike and I's matchup.
Or last
battling
place.
It for last place.
Please let us entertain you as terrible fantasy football owners.
Yeah, I think, Mike, we just spent too much time. We spent too much time on
learning about everybody else's stupid fucking teams and not paying attention to ours. That's the problem, right?
All right. Yeah. Next
Bye,
year.
everybody. Yeah, indeed.
Have a good night.